viewers, this is Just Fake Network TV, a home of accurate news and current news. For those who subscribe to our channel, God bless you for subscribing. And if you are yet to do so, please kindly press the subscription button below. And now the news in details. Trump impeached by the House for abuse of power, obstruction of Congress. President Donald J. Trump was impeached on Wednesday. For the third time in the nation's history, the House of Representatives voted to impeach a sitting president. Following a day-long debate on whether Trump violated his oath in pressuring Ukraine to damage a political opponent, the vote, which was still ongoing to impeach Trump for abuse of power, was almost entirely on party lines and was to be followed quickly by a second vote on whether Trump obstructed Congress. The Senate trial on whether to remove the president will begin in earlier January. Hours before the vote, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi took to the House floor to say it was imperative to impeach a president for the first time in 2 decades because Trump is an ongoing threat to our national security and the integrity of our elections. It is an established fact that the president violated the Constitution, Pelosi said, standing next to a sign with an American flag that quoted a line from the Pledge of Allegiance to the Republic for which it stands. Emotions ran high inside the Capitol in the ahead of the historic vote, with Democrats and Republicans accusing each other of acting in bad faith during 10 hours of debate. Speaking on the House floor, Representative Debbie Lesko Harris said, "I believe this is the most unfair, politically biased, rigged process that I have seen in my entire life. This is the most partisan impeachment in the history of the United States," she added. "Not one Republican voted for it in the Judicial Committee. Not one Republican, I don't think, is going to vote for it here today." Democrats accused their counterparts of turning a willful blind eye to the president's misdeed. They said there was ample evidence Trump had abused his power by pressurizing Ukraine to announce investigations into political rival Joe Biden and his son, while withholding almost $400 million in aid, and had obstructed Congress by refusing to release any documents related to his actions. The president withheld congressionally approved military aid to Ukraine, a country under siege, not to fight corruption, but to extract a personal political favor, said Representative Rep. G. "The President of the United States endangered our national security. The President undermined our democracy, betrayed his oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. No one should be allowed to use the powers of the presidency to undermine our elections, period." The hours of back and forth before the vote offered no new evidence and shed no new light on the allegations against the president. The Republicans and Democrats mainly echoed many of the same points they have been making for weeks. The proceedings were mostly civil, although some Republicans hampered up the hyperbole. Rep. Barry R.J. said Jesus had received a fairer trial from the Roman governor who'd sentenced him to crucifixion than Trump had gotten from the House of Democrats. When Jesus was forcefully accused of treason, Pontius Pilate gave Jesus the opportunity to face his accuser. Louder Mix said on the House floor during that sham trial, Pontius Pilate afforded more rights to Jesus than Democrats have afforded this president in this process. The White House officials told NBC News that Trump did not plan on watching the proceedings, but would keep tabs on the coverage. The officials said the White House was preparing for war. "We are all mad," the officials said, and Trump and his team are hungry. This is happening. The president made that clear on Tuesday with an extraordinary, rambling 6-page letter to Pelosi on Tuesday, accusing her of orchestrating an illegal partisan attempted coup. "You are the ones subverting Americans' democracy. You are the ones obstructing justice. You are the ones bringing pain and suffering to our republic for your own selfish, personal, political, and partisan gain. He wrote, you view democracy as your enemy. Some Republicans accuse Democrats of plotting to impeach the president since he first elected. After Democrats took control of the House earlier this year, Pelosi had pushed back on lawmakers who'd been advocating for impeachment, calling it divisive, and saying of trying to remove Trump, he is just not worth it. That position changed in September after a whistleblower came forward to file a complaint with the Senate and House Intelligence Committee that the president had used the power of his office to solicit interference from a foreign country in the 2020 election. On September 23rd, Trump confirmed media reports that a call he had with the Ukrainian leader involved withholding aid and the biddings, but maintained he had done nothing wrong. We want to make sure that country is honest. It is very important to talk about corruption. If you don't talk about corruption, why would you give money to a country that you think it is corrupt? Trump told reporters. Pelosi announced the next day that she was launching a formal impeachment inquiry into the president's actions. Subsequently, hearing before the House Intelligence Committee featured testimony from current and former administration officials that the president had been turned against Ukraine by his hand grenade of a lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and that they were never given a reason for the freeze on the Ukraine aid. The money was released on September 11 amid bipartisan pushback from Congress. The president maintained a call summary of his July 25th phone conversation with Ukrainian President Volodymyr showed their talk was perfect. Democrats said the summary shows him pressurizing the head of a country reliant on U.S. aid to help him politically. Trump is the top commander-in-chief to be impeached by the House in the nation's 243 years history. Both of those efforts were led by the House Republican Andrew Johnson was impeached in 1868, in part for replacing a cabinet member without the advice and consent of the Senate. Bill Clinton was impeached in 1998 for perjury and obstruction of justice for lying under oath about an extramarital affairs. Clinton apologized for his conduct before he was impeached by the House, something then businessman Trump said was a mistake. Trump told Chris Matthews in 1998 that Clinton should not have cooperated with the investigation into his conduct and should never have said he was sorry. Go after your enemy. They are after you, Trump said then. I think that Clinton probably is too nice a guy in a certain respect. I think that's one of the things that happened. Johnson and Clinton were acquitted in the Senate, where a two-thirds vote is required for a conviction and removal from office. In the current Senate, leadership was already tangling over the next phase of the preceding Trump's impeachment trial. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said last week he is working in a total coordination with the White House and added that my hope is there won't be a single Republican who votes for either of this article of impeachment. On Wednesday, McConnell took the Senate floor to push back against minority leaders. Chuck Schumer called to have witnesses testify in the case. His decision to try angrily negotiate through the press is unfortunate, McConnell said. Schumer stood by his request on the floor, saying, I have yet to hear an explanation why less evidence is better than more evidence, particularly when it comes to something as somber, as serious, as important as impeachment of the President of the United States of America. Wow, this is serious. Now I believe that nobody is above the law. That is what I can say. Nobody is above the law. As far as United States is concerned, nobody is above the law. Now, Donald Trump is being impeached by the House for abuse of power, obstruction of Congress. So my viewers today, what is your own take about this? What is your own opinion? Do you think it's the right thing for them to impeach Donald Trump? Or do you think they shouldn't have done that by impeaching Donald Trump? So kindly drop your comments below, click on the subscription button, and also press the bell icon to get updates whenever we upload videos. See you next in our videos.